Hello and welcome to Newsbreak on this Tuesday morning here in Seoul. Filling in for Han this week, I'm Mark Broom. Our top story this morning, it's becoming all too common these days, but the UN Security Council will gather for yet another hastily arranged meeting on North Korea's provocations. Pyongyang launched 3 powerful missiles into waters off its east coast on Monday, drawing sharp criticism from around the world. Gwon starts us off.
The UN Security Council is convening yet another emergency meeting on North Korea's threats. It comes just 10 days after the Security Council adopted a press statement condemning Pyongyang for its test firing of a submarine-launched ballistic missile late last month. The Council's 15 member nations are expected to discuss how to put more pressure on the regime after it fired 3 Nodong medium-range missiles off its east coast on Monday, less than 2 weeks after its SLBM test. UN officials in New York say South Korea, the United States, and Japan jointly requested the meeting. Following the strong denouncements out of Seoul and Tokyo on Monday, the U.S. echoed the criticism and expressed its concerns about North Korea's continual provocations. State Department spokesman John Kirby said the U.S. strongly condemns the 3 ballistic missile launches, adding they have become far too common in recent months. While the regime's nuclear and missile programs are a threat to the U.S. and its allies, South Korea and Japan, Kirby said the, quote, reckless launches by North Korea threaten civil aviation and maritime commerce in the region. The European Union also urged Pyongyang to completely abandon its ballistic missile development. It said North Korea should restart dialogue with the international community, especially within the framework of the long-stalled 6-party denuclearization talks involving the 2 Koreas, the U.S., China, Japan, and Russia. Kwon So-ah, ARIRANG News.
Unfazed by the universal international condemnation, North Korea is giving itself a slap on the back for the missile launches. The North state-run Korean Central News Agency said Tuesday that leader Kim Jong-un was present for the launches and was satisfied they went to plan. He vowed that North Korea would continue to strengthen the country's nuclear forces. The agency said artillery units from the Korean People's Army took part in the launch. It added that Pyongyang is ready to target U.S. military bases in the Pacific in case of an emergency. The report did not specify where the missiles were launched from. The 3 ballistic missiles fired on Monday are estimated to have flown some 1,000 kilometers before falling into waters within Japan's air defense identification zone. Wrapping up her stay in China following the G20 summit, President Park Geun-hye is due to depart for Laos for the ASEAN Summit. So far, in Russia and China, the South Korean leader has been winning international support to rein in North Korea's nuclear development while highlighting Seoul's ideas to foster economic growth. She will sit down with US President Barack Obama as soon as she lands in Laos. Our Song Ji-son, who's travelling with the president, looks back on her last 2 stops and has a preview of her trip to Southeast Asia.
From the Eastern Economic Forum in Russia to the G20 summit in China, President Park Geun-hye has been highlighting Korea's initiatives for global growth and regional security. Advocating open trade and innovation as the answer to low growth, President Park will continue her diplomacy drive by revving up Seoul's partnership with the massive ASEAN economic bloc.
더 높은 수준의 통합과 연계를 통해서 글로벌 경제 협력의 플랫폼을 만들어 나가야 합니다. 그리고 이를 기반으로 끊임없는 혁신과 개방을 통해서 미래 성장 동력을 창출해 나가야 하겠습니다. 창조 경제는 우리가 찾던 포용적 혁신의 새로운 모델입니다. 이 모델이 새로운 성장 동력으로 실현되도록 이번에 마련한 청사진을 계속 구체화할 것을 제안합니다.
South Korea has also been turning the screw on North Korea. After agreeing to reinforce strategic communication with Russia and China on the North Korean issue, President Park will sit down with U.S. President Barack Obama soon after she lands in Laos on Tuesday, and with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe the next day, sending a united message to Pyongyang from all the members of the 6-party denuclearization talks.
At events like the East Asian Summit, the best strategic forum in the region that's attended by the leaders of ASEAN, the US, China, Japan, and Russia, President Park will call on the world to send a strong message that North Korea's nuclear program cannot be tolerated, We must continue to cooperate to help Pyongyang make the right choice.
At our last stop of Vientiane, Laos for the ASEAN Summit, President Park will continue her call to implement the UN sanctions to pressure North Korea and to boost job creation and growth through open trade. 송지선, ARIRANG News, Hangzhou.
Now, the South Korean government has vowed to pull out all the stops to minimize the fallout from Hanjin Shipping's slide into court receivership. Speaking to reporters on the sidelines of the G20 summit, Finance Minister Yoo Il-ho said he was personally monitoring whether there had been any damage to the local maritime sector or the wider economy. Korea's finance chief says he will hold meetings with related officials to recheck the situation as well as draw up necessary measures. Minister Yoo added that Hanjin's first and foremost priority should be to ensure cargo carried by its vessels arrive safely at their destination. He said Hanjin will file for stay orders in 43 countries so that its ships can continue using harbours. Last week, scores of Hanjin ships were denied entry to ports in 7 countries over concerns they wouldn't pay their fees for unloading the cargo. And those are the stories we're following at this hour. We'll be back in a little under 2 hours from now with our next news bulletin. Until then, goodbye.